I'll collect them in a bit. Trimmed mean, the name says it all. We're going to be removing, right? Trimming things off. And so it has to do primarily with outliers. That's the reason why we do a trimmed mean calculation. In some questions in the previous section, we calculated the mean median mode, and these may have been quite different. Calculations could be skewed, distorted by the distribution of data. Okay? If there's a number that is quite different from the other numbers, I'm going to use a different color for this part. Again, this is a number that is quite different than the other numbers in the list is an outlier. The outlier is a data point that is significantly different from the general trend. Okay? An outlier can have a considerable effect on the arithmetic mean of the data. This is the mean we used to work with. Okay? This is the regular mean. Right? The regular mean, that's the one we started off with. Now I'm introducing trimmed mean. To account for this, trimmed mean may be more representative of the measure of central tendency. When there are outliers, a trimmed mean is found. Here's the definition of trimmed mean. Trimmed mean is found by omitting an equal number of values from the upper and lower ends of the data set. That is your trimmed mean definition right there. Okay. Put a few arrows here. You have to take off the same amount on either side. Okay. And here's the definition one more time, just in case you missed it. Calculated, it's the mean calculated by disregarding an equal number of data points from both ends of the range. Okay? Why do we do that? Because of outliers. So the best idea, like if you watch the Olympics, I don't know if you watch Olympics ever, there's technically after an athlete performs, there's a bunch of scores given at the bottom of the screen. There's judges and they all give a score. Dance competitions have that, different things have that, right? And so there could be bias, the judges could be biased, right? So let's say it's like, it's an American athlete right now, and there's a Canadian judge, and they're like, I don't like the Americans right now, so you give you a bad score, right? So there might be some bias there. So in order to get rid of the bias, whether you're trying to give the athlete a very good mark or a very bad one, in this case, look at all these scores. The trimmed mean says, well, let's take away the lowest and let's take away the highest and just find the average of what remains. That's literally what trimmed mean is. Sometimes it's as easy as just doing that and just working with what is left. Sometimes you have to subtract. You actually have to do subtraction from what you've already done. Okay? Let's keep going. Do I want to say anything here? I think I'm just going to say that it's the lowest and the highest. So you may have to arrange it. Okay. You may have to arrange your data set to figure out which one is the lowest, which one is the highest, and then find the average of what remains. That is it. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see if you're just making sure. Why do we do the trimmed mean? To remove bias. Okay, guys? To remove bias. That's why you want to do a trimmed mean. Bottom line. How the trimming affects your MCTs, your mean median mode. Okay, so let's find the mean, and I'm just going to go mean and median in this case. Okay? If you do the average, we find if you add all of these numbers up, you get 41.7, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 values. So your average here is 4.17 units. Just copy this for now. You'll do the calculations in a bit. Your median, this is an even set, right? So it's going to be the middle two numbers right here. It's going to be found in between here, because there's 4 on either side. So the median is found in between these two. So you go 2.3 plus 3.1 divided by 2. Make sure you put this in brackets first. And then you get 2.7 units. Okay, so that's just doing the regular arithmetic mean. I will write this down. Highlight that part, please, because we haven't removed anything. Then it's just a regular arithmetic mean. And I'm going to add something here. Determine the mean and the median after trimming the data below. Okay? I will say the province will use this by removing the highest and lowest score. Okay? Removing the highest and the lowest score. So we'll just go ahead and cross that out. You can use a marker or something. We'll cross those out. By the way, out of these numbers, which one is the outlier here? Is it 0.7 or is it 20.2? 20.2. So this is the outlier. Some students think, oh, it's both are outliers because we're removing both of them. No, this is the outlier here. So if you ever are asked which one is the outlier, make sure you pick the one that stands out, right? That's very different than the rest. Let's find our mean now. This is now a trimmed mean. As soon as we're trimming, we need to call it a trimmed mean. No longer is it an arithmetic mean. So we still go x bar. How many values are left if you remove 2? You're down to 8, right? And I'm just going to make it a little easier on you. You can either just add up what is left over, or we already know that it used to be what? The sum of all values used to be 41.7, right? You can just go minus 0.7 minus 20.2. Like you subtract these two from the previous sum. Sorry. It's supposed to be 0.2. That's 20.8. So you're left with 20.8. Let's go over in our notes here and just say the sum of all of this is 20.8. If you do this, you get 2.6 units. Now, I want you to look at both of the means, this one and this one. Do you notice that the difference? What happened to my arithmetic mean once I started trimming it? It went down, right? Does it make sense that it goes down? Because this really big outlier, right? This outlier on the upper end was pulling my average up. It was skewing it, right? It was artificially inflating it. If you remove both numbers, this is the outlier is removed, so your mean actually goes down in this case. Okay, so that's why that's 2.6. Let's figure out our median. Okay, guys, so remember our data set is now down to that, which is 8 values. it is still even. I still have to use these two numbers right here to come up with my median, right? These two. Because remember, there'll be 3 there and 3 there. So I go 2.3 plus 3.1 divided by 2. Is there going to be any change? It's still going to be 2.7 units. So no change. Median is the same, it's still the same. So trimming your data set does not affect your median. Okay, performing a trimmed mean does not affect your median. Let's do it one more time. I think you're just going to trust me on this one. You're just going to copy this down. I want you to start working on this ASAP. If you remove the 2 lowest, you also have to remove the 2 highest numbers. So this is now a trimmed mean situation. Right? Write down trimmed mean. In this case, you only have 6 values remaining. If you add these numbers up here, the 6 that remain, you get 15.5. You put 15.5 over 6. Your average is this, 2.58 units. Has there been a big change between the previous and this one? Why has there not been a big change? Because of the outlier. The outlier is gone. The outlier is already gone. So if you remove more, it's not going to really do much to you anymore. Okay, guys? That's basically the bottom line here. Median, what do you think the median is going to be? This is a tough one. It's still, look, you have 6 values left, which is even. You have to pick, you find the average between the 2 values that are still 2.3 and still 3.1. Divide that by 2. Your median has not changed. And here we add the last little bit of information. Mean is the most affected due to the outliers. Median does not change. When you're performing a true trimmed situation, if you're trimming the same amount, the median will not change. Yes? Can I just, I'm going to use a different color and just highlight the outlier one more time, because I feel like oftentimes students just flip through it and they miss the fact that the outlier was right there. So I'm going back up and I'm just saying this is the outlier. That made it worse. Anyways. Outlier right there. Okay. Now it's your time to shine. I'm going to add more tomorrow. I have there's a blank page behind this, but I think right now I'm just going to let you do the work. It'll just summarize what you've learned about the trimmed mean in terms of concepts. So right now I'm just going to ask you to work through pages 32 all the way to 36. Got it?